I don't know if this is ready, but I thought I'd take a look at it. It's my first look. The last time I looked at current, it was FreeBSD 15. It's now 16. Let's get it installed and see if there's anything new, shall we? As I said, last time I looked at current, it was 15. This is now 16. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get it installed, see what is new. I know they've made a lot of Wi-Fi improvements, and I'm not going to cover that because it doesn't really apply to me. I just want to take a look and see how it feels, and I won't be installing any graphical interfaces on it. Just want to take a look. So let's jump into my terminal. I'm at the install media. Now this is an IMG file, I think. Was it an IMG? Yeah. So I've installed it as an IMG. Just let's get it on that window so we can see it. Okay, so let's install. And we are in the United Kingdom. Now this should be pretty much the same as any FreeBSD install. Would you like to install the base system using traditional distribution sets or packages? Experimental. We'll go with yeah, I'm not so sure. Let's go with the experimental. Why not? Let's see what it's like. I was not expecting that. ZFS, zroot. We don't want both. We'll just have UEFI. 16 gig. We'll go 8. No compression. All right, that looks fine to me. Stripe. That's a crucial 128 gig. Let's do it. This might take a little bit longer if it's getting the packages from online. So let's see. We're going to need that. We'll keep that just for now. Interesting. 307 packages. I'll speed through this. That actually went a bit quicker than I thought it would. Yep. Root password. We're in Europe, kinda. Yes, it does. That's the correct time. We'll have SSH. And we'll keep the rest of it as well. Okay. Actually, we'll leave all of that. Okay. So we've got a new GPU firmware and a new Wi-Fi firmware. That's fine. We'll have them. Package 231. Pretty sure that's newer than what I've seen on 15. Could be wrong. It's taken a while.
Many unbearable hours later.
There we go. Yeah, we'll add a system user. Just me and operator. Still prefers CSH to SH. You do you. Lock out the account after creation? No. And yes. And no. Apply configuration and exit installer. No. So let's reboot this and get it started up. And pull out that USB stick. See what happens. Nice. I would expect this to be called current rather than stable. So we'll log in and have a look. 16 current. There we go. Right, let's clear that. Let's go CD, etc, PKG. Have a quick look at that.
That's what she said.
It's the latest. Excelente. Interesting, there's no mention of package base there. Let's have a look at it. Okay. Let's install my editor of choice. I'm not going to get into that debate again. It's just the one I'm comfortable with. Okay. Let's sort out SSH. Oh, and we can get rid of this keyboard. Rightio. Here we go. So let's just make that a bit of a bigger text for us. That's a bit better. Right. So see what's there. FreeBSD base repository is up to date. Kmods is up to date, and ports is up to date. Excellent. Now, I would assume that the base packages are a little bit out of sync with the source. So I'm going to check out the Git source and probably update that in the background. So let's get that command. Let's just go to user source, see what's there. Nothing. Okay. Let's check out the latest of the source, and that will probably take a few minutes. So let's open up a duplicate session. Go to that one. Right. So what I want to quickly do, let's just check the settings for that. Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger. Okay. 2499. I want to know what that is on production. 240. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Obviously, Git is slowing down this machine. I would expect that, which is fine. Let's have a quick look at OpenZFS website. Actually, that would be better off if I went to GitHub, wouldn't I? Just to see what the latest version is. 234. That's interesting. What was my version again? 249995. See, 240 is what's on 15. However, 2499, that's very interesting. Okay. Well, that can't be that mature, surely. Yeah, I don't think they've made much progress on that. Right, okay, so let's not get too bogged down with just the one thing. That's cool. It's, yeah, that's quite advanced. How are we doing with the Git checkout? Well, that's done. Let's package. So let's package, install screen. Yep. And then open a screen. And let's build it. Now, I don't expect this to finish by the time I'm finishing this, but we'll let it do it in the background. That's fine, I don't mind that. So while it's doing that, let's have a little look around. So there should be nothing in etc there, just a few bits that I've installed. So look at package.conf, a few aliases there. Interesting. I must have put the alias for up in my one then. Yeah, I did. I like to have that there. So it was there. When you in? Yeah, lovely. That's what I like. Now, what this might actually cause a problem. Doing a source upgrade on top of a package base. But you know what? I don't care. Live dangerously. Let's see what happens with that. I will report back on that in another video because it'll be quite interesting to see. Now, honestly, it doesn't really feel that much slower. I mean, given that probably got something that says, to those who say FreeBSD 16 is slow, yeah, there it is, that many debugging features are turned on in both the kernel and userland. These features, yeah, to completely disable malloc, is it just malloc? To completely disable malloc debugging, define with malloc production in etc source.conf and rebuild, or to merely disable most expensive debugging functionality at runtime, run. Okay, well, let's do both of those. So what's that in source? Yeah. Yes. What's the other one? So etc malloc.conf has got nothing in it. Interesting. Yeah, don't have that file on my production server. It's an interesting command. But that's fine. Oh, which shell is root using these days? It's SH, isn't it? SH. Yeah. Of course it does. Then CSH root. There we go. All right. Okay. I'm not an SH fan. I've always used CSH. It's just what I prefer. So let's log out of these Let's log out of these shells and log back into it. Okay. Just going to change my shell prompt because I have a certain way I like it. Push D, pop D, all the way down. Log back in. There we go. That's better. Much better. So if I go to etc and have a quick look at what we've got in here, it's all the usual stuff. That's building away nicely. Here we go. We're on current 16 and there's the checkout ID. It's on a generic kernel. It's AMD 64. Now, like I said, I don't really use Wi-Fi on my machines. It is there if I want to, but I don't use it. Although, interestingly, it hasn't got it listed here. Interesting. Not that it really matters. Yeah, like I say, it doesn't really feel slow. Everything feels just as regular as it normally does. I would like to see some more movement on the package base. It would be interesting to see if I can... I've been reading the package base mailing list and FreeBSD questions. And also FreeBSD ports, for some reason it pops up there as well. People seem to be concerned that you can remove the base packages. It'd be interesting to see if you actually can. I'm just wondering what I could remove that wouldn't break it completely. Let's have a quick look at see what we can. So I don't want to remove anything that's going to kill it completely, especially when it's building at the moment. FreeBSD EE. I don't use EE. I could get rid of that. It's just an editor. Should we test that? Hey, what? Sorry, I don't know what that meant. Most recent version of the package is installed. Right, question is, I didn't do this. Are they locked? They're not locked. Right. Well, that answers my question then. Are they easy to uninstall? And it doesn't look like they are. Well, you can do it with a FOSS.
Use the FOSS, Luke.
What about if I take the F out? Cannot solve problem using SAT solver. What the heck does that mean?
What?
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I guess that at least that there is a bit of a protection there from removing anything from the base. You have to do a -F. Is that enough of a protection? I don't know. I mean, it seems to be. Yeah, and it installs everything all right. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's running. It doesn't seem particularly that slow. I mean, it is a little bit slow, but that's because I'm building world. Interesting. So I said I'd come back and just check this out. So I did a build world and an install world, and the same with the kernel. So there it is. There's the checkout. Now I just wanted to quickly do something and just to see if it has done anything. I just wanted to check whether this is screwed up package base. Yeah, I thought it might. However, because it's the next day, all of these package base packages may actually have been updated anyway. So I am on, I'm not really sure how I would tell, to be honest, but I'm going to upgrade them anyway and see what happens because, you know, that's what they're there for. So let it do its thing. Roughly halfway through fetching, looking good. There we go. Right. Okay, so it's still on 084, which is what it was before, I believe. Right, let's do a quick reboot and see what happens. So let's switch to the console, see what happens. I expect this to still come back up. We'll see. It does. Yeah, and it has definitely changed. Yeah, there you go. It hasn't got my path to user object, which is what I would have expected. 33 chart files changed. Yeah, okay. But package base still works. So that's good. So you can sort of move to and from. Interesting. Okay, let's carry on with the video. It's the funny thing about FreeBSD. The more it changes, the more it stays the same. This is version 16 and nothing is really that different. It's not. That's one of the bright things about FreeBSD, in my opinion, is that there is consistency there. The more that it is updated to a later version, it's still the same. Everything is compatible. You know, it works exactly the same. You might get the odd library incompatibility now and then, but you don't really get, everything's the same, just with updated versions. And it makes for a much more consistent experience. In the past, I have seen going from one version of a particular Linux distro to another, you've got to relearn the whole thing. That's a bit of an exaggeration, but things change. And I mean, ifconfig is a great example of that on Linux. Ifconfig has been replaced by something else these days. You use IP. I mean, why did they do that? I don't really understand why they needed to change it that much. Now, I get that you might want to completely rewrite something. I get that. That's quite typical that people want to do that, especially if your licensing has changed and, you know, all sorts of this kind of thing. But why start changing names so you've got to dig around for more information? Don't get me wrong, I'm all for learning stuff, but relearning the same information just because they've changed the name of the application, it doesn't make any sense to me. You don't get that on FreeBSD, and that's one of the biggest benefits is that if you've got a command that you've used forever and a day, that command name is still going to be the same, no matter what version of FreeBSD you're using. So I can sit here and I can look at FreeBSD 16, 15, 14, 13. They're all going to work the same. There might be bumps in performance. There might be new features. But the commands to access all of that stuff are still going to be the same. ZFS pool does exactly the same on 16 as it does on 15, 14, and 13, and 12. It hasn't changed. DU, disk usage, that hasn't changed. Ifconfig, that hasn't changed. There may be new options, there may be new features, but the command itself has not changed. And that means once you've learned FreeBSD, or what you need to do on it, as much as you need, that's it, you're done. You can go off and do stuff, which is exactly how I work. All the stuff that I do hasn't changed from day one. Don't underestimate that, because it's a big, big plus. Right, I'm going to stop ranting, because what can you do? FreeBSD is consistent across every single version. Love it or hate it, that's up to you. If it's the right thing for the tool that you want, then you haven't got a problem. And with that, I'm going to go off and start preparing for my next video, which is going to be setting up an email server, the latest iteration, which for most of you, I did one a couple of years ago, which was using Maya MailGuard, which fell away because it wasn't compatible. There's me just saying, that's not part of the base operating system. This is third-party software. Maya MailGuard didn't support PHP 8, didn't really support 7. It's being brought back, but that's down the line. We'll look at that some other time. But my latest iteration on mail server is using rspamd, and I've covered that, but I'm going to go through the whole setup of an email server. So IMAP, SMTP, filtering, DKIM, SPF, DMARC. We'll have a look at the whole thing. So until I've prepared for that, I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Got to have a rant every now and then.